Oh, come on, man.
Excuse me?
You've been under investigation, Mr. Wordsworth, for the mandatory period of 1 year and 11 months. You're found to be obsolete. The purpose of this hearing is to make a finding in the matter and make a sentence accordingly. Do you understand that, Mr. Wordsworth? Your occupation, Mr. Wordsworth?
A librarian, sir.
A librarian. Having to do with books.
Yes, sir. Books.
Since there are no more books, Mr. Wordsworth, there are no more libraries. The field investigators in your sector have classified you as obsolete. Your rights are as follows, Mr. Wordsworth. You are to be liquidated within a period of 48 hours. You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins with printer's ink. The narcotics that you call literature, poetry, essays of all kind, all of it an opiate. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Two members want the banned books burned.
I think they should be thrown in a fire.
People see them. Go ahead.
I mean, it was just sad.
Some staffers and parents are pushing back. I've seen a lot of stupid in Spotsylvania schools, wrote Kelly Lucia, but this takes the cake. They're literally talking about burning books. Terrifying, wrote Kathy Hirsch.
I just think it's stupid. We're in high school.
You can make your own decisions about what's
what we can,
decent
what we
and
read,
what's indecent. The superintendent says staffers will immediately start removing books from the library shelves and report back how many they found at an emergency school board meeting next week.
Tennessee lawmaker says he would burn books banned from school libraries. Representative Jerry Sexton made the statement when asked about a bill increasing the legislative oversight of books in school libraries. The measure requires the speakers of the House and Senate to appoint a librarian to the state's textbook commission. It would then make guidance for materials in school libraries. Here's part of the lawmakers' conversation.
Let's say you take these books out of the library. What are you going to do with them? You going to put them in the street? Light them on fire? Where are they going?
Representative Sexton.
I don't have a clue, but I would burn them.
That bill has passed both the House and Senate.
Because as benign as Moms for Liberty may sound, its agenda is unmistakably extreme. For instance, you may not know that Moms for Liberty has been helping to lead the movement in pulling books from the library shelves, including classics like The Bluest Eye, great book, The Kite Runner, amazing book, and Mouse, as well as other books that deal with race, diversity, and sexuality. The group has turned school board meetings into unruly shouting matches. As an attendee at one Florida meeting described, quote, they turn around and scream at me that I am a commie and teachers want to see all kids fail. This group brings out the worst in people. The group says this work, all of this shouting, is the work of joyful warriors, is what they call it. Sounds a lot more to me like pretty aggressive harassment. And that behavior is not isolated. It's part of a bigger pattern. Chapters and members across the country have led campaigns targeting community advocates, school board members, and opposing groups. They have repeatedly sent intimidating messages, openly threatened officials, and even baselessly leveled charges of child abuse and sympathizing with pedophilia. Unbelievably, an Indiana chapter even put out a newsletter that quoted Adolf Hitler, saying, quote, he alone who owns the youth gains the future. That is a Hitler quote. And while they eventually apologized, the organization seemed to later regret that apology.
There's always a reason why something happens, right? Yes. One of our moms in a newsletter post-Hitler. I stand with that mom.
Standing by a mom who quotes Hitler in a newsletter. People cheering for that. That's what you just saw. And as for their claim that they are just a group of concerned, nonpartisan moms who happen to care about liberty, consider this. One of the founders, whose name is notably omitted from its website, is a current Republican school board member who is married to the now chairman of the Florida Republican Party. In 2021, he told the Washington Post, quote, "I have been trying for a dozen years to get 20 and 30-year-old females involved with the Republican Party. But now Moms for Liberty has done it for me." Sounds pretty apolitical. So below the surface of their sending friendly-sounding name and politically vague taglines, they are an unapologetically extreme organization that has built a long record of harassment and controversy in a pretty short period of time. Some free advice out there for people who are not sure what their organization is about, whether it's called Moms for Liberty or Puppies for Ice Cream. It's worth looking into the agenda of an organization before.
The newly established Ministry of Propaganda and Enlightenment set up various chambers to control specific aspects of German culture, such as art, literature, theater, film, music, virtually all forms of entertainment and all forms of dissemination of news. In 1933, in April, Nazi German students decided to organize a nationwide book burning program to eliminate foreign influence, to purify German culture as they saw it.
So you have committees of students meeting with professors together, deciding what categories of books in these university libraries would count as un-German. They didn't see themselves as suppressing culture, they saw themselves as advancing Aryan German culture.
I remember very distinctly a conversation between my parents and some friends who were all shocked that a nation like the Germans, an educated, highly intelligent nation, would burn books. Books never hurt anybody.
The event that the students planned occurred on May 10th, 1933. In each German university city, 34 of them in all, thousands of people gathered together at a public place in which books that had been confiscated either by the students themselves or by Nazi party officials, often with the help of police, were brought and dumped in a pile. Student leaders exhorted their followers and the listening crowds to swear an oath by the fire to destroy and combat subversive and un-German literature.
Hey, this hour of Well Actually with Lindsay and Bill brought to you by the Spine Bookshop. The Spine Bookshop helping Democrats have an actual spine since 2018. I didn't know what year you opened the store, so I just kind of
2024. So
2020. Oh,
hang on, 20. Yeah, it's been 4 years. So 2022.
So you're a newbie. So I gave you
I'm a baby.
I gave you a couple of extra years of practice.
I'll take it.
But you are doing that.
I am. I'm doing it.
Hey,
slowly but surely.
Yeah. So I have a favor to ask you, to put you on the spot here a little bit.
Okay.
Fund me for our play
yes.
coming up in November.
The GoFundMe, yes.
Yeah. Put my name on that so that my audience can see it, and
it should be on there.
So it in the headline, it just gives your name.
Oh crap! Okay, I'll fix that today. No problem.
Yeah, no worries. But I was sharing it today on my Facebook page, and people.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's all right. Why don't you give a plug for that so we'll put it in the notes below for the show. But talk about it, please.
So William and I wrote a play, kind of based loosely how the Vagina Monologues was written,
Yep.
and it's
Vignettes and
about
sketches.
censorship. Yeah, I mean it's a series of monologues, and it's about book banning and censorship and how books can affect even the worst traumas that can happen to you and how they can educate. And it's
Yeah.
this kind of censorship has gone all the way back since the Nazis, even before that. So we wrote this play and we're going to put it on here in Smyrna, Tennessee. Well, Murfreesboro, Tennessee at Oakland's Mansion in November. And we just need a little help putting it on. We're going to let everybody in for free as long as we reach our goal.
Yep.
And that goal is $2,500. And the reason
500.
we want that is so that we can pay the rent
Mhm.
for the use of the facility that we're going to put the play on, and then marketing and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So and I have experience with this. My play Occupy My Heart, a Revolutionary Christmas Carol, um, opened and had a run of sold out standing room only audiences.
And
Changed,
that's what we want.
yes, changed the narrative of Occupy and changed a lot of minds. I can't tell you the number of people that came up to me after that program, or came up to some of the actors in the play and said, I felt this way after seeing this. I'm feeling a different way, and
I'm fairly certain that's what's going to happen with this play as well.
yeah,
And I think, and it's very personal to me because the opening monologue is my assault story, um, and how the book Speak saved me. And it's just,
yeah,
I'm very, very invested in this play, and you and I wrote it, and I want I want it to make people think.
yeah, yeah. No, it's gonna be a really great play. And there's some comedic moments. There's poignant.
Yeah.
We're gonna have music in there, so it's gonna
Hmm.
be this sort of big variety kind of show that is meant for everybody to come and really see what's at stake with book bans, right?
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna share that GoFundMe link at the bottom of the page for the show. Please, 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 anything that you can give, a few
We
dollars.
appreciate every penny.
Yeah, yeah, it's all going to go to a very noteworthy cause, and dare I say, like all of my plays, The People's Republic of Edward Snowden, um, this will get headlines. This will make,
No, absolutely. I think so too.
yeah, yeah. So we'll even have a bigger reach.
I hope so.
That said, this program is very often a work born from frustration, parody, and opinion. Consult a doctor or mental health professional if you exhibit any of the following symptoms: taking any of this too seriously or personally, if you have the urge to ban what is said on this program, or if you have ever said these words, "Honey, hold my beer," while I vote at the drive-thru. Or you can just try banging some sense into your skull with a skillet or a frying pan. Failing that, just get a damn life. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's our disclaimer. Um,
Yes.
so we are going to talk about Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Absolutely. And so I wanted to start with this, if it's all right with you, and buckle
Sure.
yourselves in because we're going to be telling dad stories today, the good, the bad,
All day long.
and the ugly. Um, but I thought I'd start by relating from a very dear friend, an award-winning, critically acclaimed author, Alex Poppe. Have you heard of Alex, by the way?
I don't think so,
Okay,
but I wrote his name down.
you will. It's a she, and
Oh,
she's
she. I'm sorry.
no, that's right. She's absolutely brilliant. Alex is the author of Jinwar and Other Stories, an exemplary novel that I reviewed and spoke to her about as part of the Chicago Writers Association's podcast, Chicago Writes, called Duende. Duende was just a beautiful, powerful novel. Her latest book is Breakfast Wine. Alex just published today, as a matter of fact, a piece in the Chicago Tribune that I'll post a link to. It's titled "My Father, a World War II Refugee, Would No Longer Recognize Our Country." Alex has worked in conflict zones such as Iraq, the West Bank, and Ukraine. Her father was just 16 years old in 1948, Lindsay, and a refugee when he arrived in America after the Second World War with his father
Wow.
and grandmother. She writes this, quote, "Although my father fiercely defended border control, he was outraged by President Donald Trump's family separation policies during his first term, which separated more than 5,000 children from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border. Since Trump's return to office in 2025, more than 145,000 children have had a parent detained in deportation campaigns, according to a recent Brookings Institute report." She adds, quote, "Despite Executive Order 13269 signed by Republican President George W. Bush, which grants expedited citizenship to non-citizens serving honorably in the armed forces, over the past year, 284 relatives of former military members have been put into deportation proceedings. 125 former service members have been arrested for immigration violations, and 34 military members have been put into deportation proceedings. Her dad believed in the promise of the U.S. That those seeking safety and opportunity would find them here because he had lived it. That U.S. promise has enabled a pluralistic society that reflects the best of our country's values, hopes, and goodwill between peoples, care, concern, and understanding. The ruptures in our nation, exemplified by family separation, indefinite detention, mass deportation, and an absence of refugee resettlement for most everyone except white South Afrikaners, will destroy the essence of the U.S., unquote. I loved this piece. People should read it. It goes on, talks about his life during the Second World War, and then coming as a refugee to America at a young age, and then how he prevailed through the blessings of this country and what is being lost or taken from us. I'd love your thoughts.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's really appalling. My stepfather would be absolutely ashamed.
He was a veteran.
Yes, yeah, he was a retired Air Force colonel. He went to MIT and graduated with honors. He went to West Point Military Academy and graduated with honors. And he would be appalled. He just would be absolutely disgusted.
Yeah. Yeah. And our dads were anything but perfect, right?
Oh yeah, no. My dad, so that was my stepdad. My dad and I had a very rocky relationship for the longest time. I mean, well into my late 20s, early 30s. And we finally got to a point where we could have a relationship that was a good relationship, but it took work on both of our parts. But my dad and I had a very long, hard, rocky relationship for the majority of my life. And my stepdad filled in a lot of the time when my real dad and I were not speaking to each other.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. How did that relationship repair itself?
Well, so my brother got married in Colorado. And my dad behaved not that great towards me. And I finally had enough.
Yeah.
And so I flew home and cried the whole way home on the plane and called my mom, and I told her that if he calls, I'm not speaking to him. And I didn't speak to him for a year.
Mm-hmm.
The only time that I broke in speaking to him is when my Uncle John died, and I went to the funeral and I gave my dad a hug, but I didn't speak to him anymore. And then I thought I was pregnant, and so I wrote my dad a letter. And I said, these are now the ground rules if you want to be in a relationship with me. And I explained that I'm an adult and you will treat me accordingly. And you will respect me. You're going to respect the relationship I have with my mother. You will not talk to me the way that you talk to me, And I mean, I laid down the ground rules. And I had the support of my stepmother and both of my brothers and even my grandmother was like, you absolutely need to do better. And so he and I did, and we worked on it, and we're really good now. But it took me not speaking to him for a year.
So then who made the first move? Was it
Me? I wrote him a letter.
Okay. But I mean, that must have been what was he trying to initiate a relationship?
Oh yeah, constantly. And I like he sent me stuff and I would just throw it away because it was just stuff I didn't want.
Yeah, so he was waiting for you to thaw maybe a little bit.
Yeah, he was trying, but I wasn't ready. And I think me finding out that I was pregnant for the first time was like, okay, if you want to have a relationship with your grandchild, this is what has to happen.
Yeah.
So,
but it was sort of you coming to that moment of this is what I need, and then you were able to tell him that and lay down rules. So the way I'm seeing is that you actually broke the child parent bond or more.
I did.
And then sort of thrust yourself into that necessary adult role.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that parent and child relationships can be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're very easy.
Yeah.
But I think especially as a person gets older, their parent has trouble seeing that their child is now an adult. Same thing with me and my daughter. I mean, my kid is 15. She has her permit. Like, when did that happen?
Right.
And it's a constant struggle of trying to let your kid go out into the world and be a person, but still try to hold on to them and be a parent.
Yeah. But I want to explore that a little bit because I know my wife had a somewhat acrimonious relationship that was repaired later on in life with her father. And I'm wondering if that isn't maybe more the rule than the exception, that fathers and daughters really have a difficult time communicating for a lot of different reasons. Maybe
I think it's not just fathers and daughters, but I think it's mothers and daughters too. Because as I've gotten older, my mother and I have trouble communicating, and it's so weird because I've got a very good friend that she doesn't speak to her father at all, and her father, admittedly, is a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Like, he is a horrible, horrible person. Has been a horrible person my entire life. They do not speak. I've got another friend who barely speaks to her mother. I think there's this generational thing.
Yeah.
But then, you look at my husband, Adam, he's a fantastic father to my kid. And Corrine's dad is a fantastic dad to her. Like, Corrine's lucky. She's got two amazing fathers.
Yeah.
And so I think that there are some times when parents just have trouble communicating. Although there are other people that have great relationships with their kids. And I think that's fantastic. But yeah, there's definitely a realignment of roles in the family as people get older.
So you have a husband and an ex-husband, right?
Yeah. Yes.
How does that come together on Father's Day? Maybe
She
more.
stays with her dad.
Yeah.
I get Mother's Day, her dad gets Father's Day. That's the rule. So
Okay.
like we'll pick her up tonight and then we'll do something for Adam for Father. Like I asked Adam this morning, I said, what do you want to do for Father's Day? I just want to watch TV and hang out. I was like, okay.
All right.
So yeah.
Even though your current husband is like a father to her as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Very
so
much so.
yeah. So and is there any friction between the two dads or
Not really, no.
good, that's
The
great.
Yeah, no, the friction is, it used to be friction, it's not anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Corinne's 15. She talks to both households. She's
yeah,
good. Adam gets along, Tommy gets along. Everybody's good. And
yeah,
it's what's best for Corinne.
yeah. Maybe it's her biological father realized that her stepfather is as much a blessing in her life as he is or you are, right?
Well, I don't want to make him the bad guy.
No,
This
no,
is more
I was
like
yeah, I was actually sort of
it's more like when you've got two separate families,
yeah,
and
yeah,
everybody's got to find their footing. And I
yeah,
think that applies for like when Governor Lee made June Nuclear Family Month, one father and one mother and I think that's so dismissive because you don't take into consideration that you've got divorced families who are trying to co-parent a kid and single parents who are trying to co-parent children
yeah,
or aunts and uncles who are stepping in or friends of the family who are stepping in and fulfilling roles. So the definition of family I don't think is a one man one woman and however many kids. It's aunts and uncles and friends and grandparents and it's not just. And so everybody has to figure out where their footing is and where they fit in the new dynamic of a nuclear family, whatever the
and
hell
what
that
about
means.
and what about pet parents? Do we not suffer? Do
Yes, I think
spoil and
pet parents
sacrifice?
count.
Do we not bleed kibble when we're cut?
Hey, I call my two dogs fur babies, and Adam hates it, but they're my babies. I love my
Yeah,
dogs. I will
yeah,
never not have a dog.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We've got three cats and a dog, and
Yeah.
it's a full-time job maintaining these animals.
We have two
Well,
pity mixes. One is a pity boxer mix, and the other one is like a greyhound pity boxer
uh-huh,
mix. And they are the biggest dorks on the
uh-huh.
planet.
And they
So yeah, Adam is a dad to a boy dog, a girl dog, and then a girl. So
and they all have their own personalities
oh my God, yes.
and their own quirks in those
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah yeah
It took a really long time for my stepdad and I to find our footing too, because the dynamics of you've got a little girl who loves her daddy, and then here comes this guy into a family
yeah
that was just a kid and her mom, and now here's this dude. And I admittedly did not like him for a really long time.
mhm.
But I think it was about my teen years before I realized just how cool he was. And I wish that he was still alive now that I'm old enough to appreciate him. Because, like, I went to go see Oppenheimer,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted so badly to call my stepdad and be like, oh my God, I have so many questions. Because Ward would have known. Ward would have known all the things that I wanted to ask. He would have been able to explain all the things to me. And I really like, we were watching Top Gun and he just the whole time grumbled, that's not how that plane works. That plane didn't have that kind of engine. That's not, you can't do that. That's not good. And then we went to go watch Pearl Harbor. He made us leave the movie theater took us to Blockbuster and made us rent Tora, 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 which I now own. Because
Yeah.
his point was, if you're going to watch a movie about Pearl Harbor, you need to watch a movie about Pearl Harbor, not a love story. And he absolutely hated it.
You would think so. I'm just going to riff on this for a second, because war movies are my thing here.
Oh, I love war movies. Like,
I
I
couldn't
love them.
I couldn't stand Pearl Harbor. I
It
thought it
was awful.
blocked after Saving Private Ryan.
Oh my
Everything could have
gosh.
changed. Not this soap opera trash, right?
No,
And
my
that's like,
stepfather loved Saving Private Ryan.
right, and that it's such a compelling story, uh,
Hmm.
in its own right. Pearl Harbor with so many
Hmm.
personal vignettes and
To diminish that story
yeah,
by throwing a love story into it was ridiculous.
and it's a complete indictment that Tora, which was made in the middle of that 70s heroic,
So good.
is a better film.
And here's why. Okay, here's my argument for here's why.
Okay.
So Tora Tora Tora
Mhm.
shows both the Japanese side of what happens and the American side of what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
And it basically set up the argument that had all of these different military factions had a conversation with each other as opposed to blah blah blah. No, we're not going to talk to the army. We're not talking to the. If they had looked at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
they would have seen Pearl Harbor coming a mile away, and they didn't do it. And then the Japanese screwed up by not issuing the declaration of war, and they didn't get that to the prime minister, or not the prime minister, but the what do you call it?
It was
The
was the Secretary of War at the time.
Yeah, till 2 hours after they had already bombed them.
Yeah.
And the very last line of the movie is the Japanese ship commander that the airplanes launched off of to bomb them, going,
Right.
I fear that all we have done is waking a sleeping dragon and feel it with a furious anger. And he's right, because they went about that in such a wrong way.
Yep. Yeah, indeed.
But also, it was our fault as a country because our factions didn't talk to each other because they were so, oh, well, not the Navy, not the, if anyone, I mean, Pearl Harbor cost people their careers.
Yeah. Well, and the movie should have cost some people their careers too.
Yes. But I mean, I grew up watching all those movies with my dad, my stepdad, like Stalag, what is it? Stalag 17? What is that one?
Yeah, with William Holden.
Yeah. And then The Great Escape with Steve
Great Escape.
McQueen. And I mean, The Dirty Dozen, like all of those. I watched all of those. There's one with Frank Sinatra where he dies in the end, and I remember going, "What?
Von
Who killed
Ryan's
Frank Sinatra?"
Von Ryan's Express.
Yes, I could not believe that they did that. It's like who the hell kills off Frank Sinatra?
Yeah, I know my war films.
I love them. I absolutely love those movies. I think they're fantastic.
Did you guys have, and I used to sit and watch this with my dad every Sunday. Did you guys have family classics?
My stepdad and I really didn't. We watched war movies. Now, my dad, we watched The Equalizer with that British guy whose name I can't remember. And we watched The A-Team and Magnum PI and, all of those 80. Magnum PI, I had no business watching Magnum PI when I was 13 years old because Tom Selleck and those shorts, good heavens. With that mustache, just yeah, but I want that. Yeah, so the A-Team, Magnum PI, The Equalizer, we watched. What's the one with the two brothers, detectives? One was a cowboy and the other one was a businessman, and I watched all that stuff with my dad.
Yeah, Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of it right now. But you know, I grew up watching movies like Sink the Bismarck.
Yeah.
Um, which was for its day was was a damn fine war movie, and
Hmm.
it still holds up today. By the way, there's a scene in there that was never cut out, but the when the HMS Hood is is blown up by the Bismarck.
Yeah.
But they cut to I think it was it on the Queen Victoria or Queen I can't recall the other ship that it was on, but the captain mouths these words, "motherfucker," and they left it. They left it in.
That's amazing. I want to watch. So I realize it's a Nicolas Cage movie, but it's the only one that I can find about it. I want to watch the Indianapolis because every time I watch Jaws, which is one
Okay.
of my absolute favorite movies,
Okay.
when Quint is sitting there talking about being on the Indianapolis, and for those that don't know, the Indianapolis is the submarine
Right.
that delivered the two bombs so that they could be dropped on
Right.
Nagasaki and
And Hiroshima. Yeah.
thank you. I was like, I know it's there. So, but apparently the story is on their way back, they got bombed
They were
and
they
had,
were they were torpedoed, and
yeah,
so
and
they
they spent like 27 days in the water surrounded by sharks or something.
because it was a secret. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very well acquainted with this. We had a guy on the radio show who wrote a book about this. So
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it. He might have had a relative that was a survivor of the Indianapolis. We're going to take a break in a minute. Um, but
But yeah, I want to watch that movie really bad.
yeah, but so that story was they were coming back from dropping off those bombs
Mm-hmm.
at I think Tinian.
I
Um,
think so, yeah.
yeah, and so since it was a secret mission, they were uh, they were forbidden from announcing their position,
Mm-hmm.
and they were torpedoed by a Japanese submarine and went down in uh, shark-infested waters.
Mm-hmm. It was bad.
And
What did they say? Like 200 people went in the water, and I think only like 20 something came out.
yeah, it was a very small number.
So, okay, just to inject a little humor here. So,
Yeah,
you know how they
nothing is
called the
nothing is funnier
bombs?
than being eaten by a shark.
Oh, no, no, no. Oh, wait. So, you know how they called the bombs Fat Man and Little Boy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you hear about the thing that Trump did at the military facility a couple months ago? And he was there with JD Vance, and it was such a bomb. It was like the absolute worst thing ever. So people started referring to Trump and Vance as Fat Man and Little Boy
Um,
because they bombed the presentation so badly. When I heard that, I laughed so hard I cried laughing.
Speaking of a fat man and a little boy, well, not really, a skinny man and a little boy. When we come back, I'm going to tell you a really fateful story about my parents and my father, uh,
Yeah,
and some of the things that endeared me to my father later in life. But we need to take a quick break. Find us on
sure.
Facebook at wcturk.substack.com, on YouTube at Well Actually, in an NSA file somewhere, and also on Blue Sky.
Hi, FBI.
How are you? Um, so we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back, and Lindsay, I've got a great story
I
about,
can't wait.
yeah. So we'll be right back right after this.
Stay tuned for more Well Actually with Lindsay and Bill after this quick break.
A great library, like a great bookstore, can open your eyes to a universe of mysteries, fantastic journeys, and epic adventures. When you open that door, like life, it's impossible to know what awaits. I'm Lindsay Schultz, owner of the Spine Bookshop, author and book dragon, and keeper of the banned Book Brigade. I can ship the latest titles in your favorite genre anywhere in the continental U.S., with discounts for veterans, teachers, first responders, and librarians, and so much more. Or stop in at my shop, 244 South Lowry Street, Smyrna, Tennessee, for tea and coffee, to browse and chat. Or visit us online at thespinebookshop.com. Or call 615-768-9833. Illuminate your mind. The Spine Bookshop. We match books to people. Thespinebookshop.com.
And now, back to the show.
All right.
All right. So tell me about your dad. I want to hear about your dad.
Well, let me just tell people who we are. This is Well Actually with Lindsay and Bill. Like us on Facebook, YouTube at Well Actually, and on
Blue Sky.
On Blue Sky at Well Actually. Yeah. And don't forget to click the thumbs up or thumbs down. It doesn't matter. It's just we'd love you to give us a thumbs up. But please subscribe, and if you can't subscribe, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
We'd love that.
It helps to engage the algorithm, and it'll give you something to do while you're watching this, right?
I promise you we'll entertain you in some way.
That's right. That's right. So we're talking about Father's Day, and
happy Father's Day to all those that are just tuning in.
Absolutely. Happy Father's Day to everyone. And so I wanted to talk about the poignancy of fatherhood, but I wanted to tell this story. My parents met at Riverview Amusement Park here in Chicago. The place where they originally set, and it was basically right across the street from the high school, where the writers of Grease went to.
Shut up. That's awesome.
So, but they met on May 9th, 1961. I was born 13 months later.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
My father passed away, dropped in the hallway coming out of the bathroom, on May 9th, 2018. And my mom survived him by 2 years and died in the same spot of we think an aneurysm, which might have been what caused my dad passing. But virtually on the same day, 2 years later.
That is crazy.
Yeah. My dad.
I'm so sorry.
No, it was, honestly, they would have been heartbroken to be living at this time. My dad.
Oh, yeah.
My dad was a fireman. He was an auxiliary policeman. He was, he was a construction worker when he was younger, when he ran away from home, and spent some time in Boys Town. Have you you've heard of Boys Town?
Yes, I know what like Boys Town or like Boys Town?
No, Boys Town was an orphanage in Iowa.
Yep. I've heard about that.
And there's a really famous movie by Mickey Rooney and Spencer Tracy.
Yep.
And I got by the way, Mickey Rooney was in town just up the street from where I lived doing the play. And
wow.
I got to tell him that story. I ran into him under the L tracks right outside the theater one day after
Fun.
during rehearsal, and I got to tell him that story, and he teared up.
I love
Really
that.
teared up at at that someone was so affected by that story, and it was just a great moment with a really genuine person. So anyway, and he worked a union job until he retired for years and years, and then they moved down to Texas to be near their grandkids.
Hmm.
But it didn't start out well. When I was a kid, before either of my brothers were born, my dad was a knockdown, violent alcoholic. He just
Oh no.
he would stumble through the door. He would berate me and my mom at the dinner table. I remember my mom getting up and crying and running to her room, and he would stumble up the stairs, and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. When I was 8 years old, uh, he was off one day and had been pounding some beers, making a sandwich, and I have been prone to be a smartass my entire life. I know
No,
that that's
not
a
I. It's
shock to
such a
many
shock.
people, but I've had chalk thrown at me by teachers. Yeah,
I'm not at all surprised by this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been kicked out of catechism class for asking the wrong questions. So yeah,
Same.
I have a mouth on me when I get going, right?
Yeah,
This is one of those days.
I'm sure.
Dad turned around and swiped at me, not realizing that he had the knife in his hand. And I had turned away and ducked, but he caught me, sliced through my shirt, and ran a gash from my shoulder to my lower right side.
Oh my God.
A deep gash. So it could have been bad. Could have been much worse than it was. Um, that was his first shock. I can't tell you how much. So he stopped drinking after that period for a while. And then he started back up, as alcoholics do, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's tougher than them.
Sure. Well, alcohol. I think alcoholism is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I think that we know so much more now about it than we did maybe 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is an illness. It is a disease that like even cigarettes are the same way. Even Robert Downey Jr. said that quitting cigarettes and alcohol were harder than quitting cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, good God.
Yeah. Um, it's it can be a mood stabilizer that you feel that you can control
Hmm.
much more than smoking or something,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
something else, that you feel that you're more in control and more confident.
Oh, alcohol lies to you. Yeah, you can sing. You're a great dancer. It's totally fine.
Yeah, yeah, and I've done that a few times. Um, Anna, by the way, in 32 years of marriage, has never seen me drunk. So I wait
Well,
till
I would imagine the alcohol would not be a big factor for you, considering that that's how you grew up.
yes, yeah, yeah. So my dad, we moved to another small town. My dad became a volunteer fireman,
Hmm.
and so that they have these transponders in the houses and they go off right with this loud tone. And
Hmm.
if you're available, then you respond. That's how that works. That's how firefighting works
Sure.
in a lot of small towns. So one night, and I think I was 12 years old. One night, middle of the night, the tone goes off. My dad reluctantly gets up and goes to this call.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a back road outside of town, and two young kids uh, sped up and went around another car right into the path of a semi truck.
Oh,
And my dad, still being fairly sort of a rookie, his name was Rosie, by the way. His
mhm.
fire name was nickname was Rosie because he was carrying a roll of hose to a barn fire and fell right into an old outhouse and stunk like so they called him Rosie. And
I love
anyways,
that.
so Rosie goes to this car accident, and it was his responsibility to pull these two dead kids out of the trunk of the car. They had been they had been shoved with the engine and all the rest of the car into the trunk of the car. So
Oh,
you can imagine what that would have been like.
oh,
My my dad came home white as a sheet and
I'm sure.
suspected that it cured him of his alcoholism. Um,
Wow.
he would drink a little bit, and every once in a while he would fall off the wagon, but never to the extent that happened before that accident. And so I always credited that. So, I used to talk about Malcolm X quite a bit. And
Hmm.
if people don't believe that people have the ability to change, you don't know enough about Malcolm X, right?
Well, I think everybody has the ability to
Yeah.
change. It's whether you want to or not.
Right. But here was a street hoodlum that ended up in prison, found Islam, came out, became an activist, and was actually
Hmm.
moving more and more towards and this is the supposition to why he may have been assassinated because he was moving more in the direction of Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh,
than towards that obstinate militancy of say a Louis Farrakhan, who
yeah.
I've known and I've met many times.
Well, I just think the civil rights era and the people that came out of the civil rights era is one of my favorite periods in history.
Yeah.
And oh God, no. Okay. I say this in a slightly joking manner that my dad and Reverend Jesse Jackson could be brothers. And there is a running joke through my entire family that he looks just like my dad. And I show people the pictures, and people kind of have that, oh God, yeah, okay, I see it. I'll have to show you off camera. But I have a picture of them side
Sure.
by side, and it's
I want to
it's
see that picture.
oh my God, it is hysterical.
Jesse Jackson was an amazing person. Uh,
Yes, I agree.
I
I absolutely agree.
I was at Operation Push during the Rwandan crisis with a group of we had a relief group called the Rwanda Relief Program,
Okay.
and so I was standing, and everybody else in the group was black. One of them was African, was Burundian.
I just texted you the picture, so you should be able to see.
Awesome, killer. Um, So, so they went off to talk with one of the members of his staff, and
Hmm.
in the meantime, I'm in this big hall with all these reporters. I'm standing behind all the reporters, and Jesse Jackson gave a brief.
Hmm.
Then he cut a path through uh, all those reporters and came right up to me, put an arm around me, and shook my hand and said, "Are you okay? Is everybody treating you all right?" And he says, "I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. This is your house, like everybody else's house." And he was
Wow.
the sweetest, most gracious person. So so anyway, so back to Malcolm X and my dad. So Malcolm X, you know, it seemed that he was moving closer towards the ideals of Martin Luther King Jr. And some people
Sure.
that Martin Luther King Jr. was moving closer to a more dramatic, more obstinate.
I'm sure they were both kind of moving towards each
Yeah,
other
yeah.
in a middle ground sort of way.
But that whole arc from streethood to where he ended up
Hmm.
is the epitome of change.
Oh, absolutely.
And my dad, I saw that same quality in my dad. And I think probably in a lot of dads, people
Hmm.
people can find that same quality if they look for it, or if there's enough of a catalyst in to encourage that, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, it was my dad seeing those two young kids killed. And then some other things that happened as he was a fireman,
Hmm.
uh, that that kind of solidified that, right? Or reinforced that those better angels.
Yeah.
And to where he ended up. But the thing about my father is he never lost his his ideals. I remember I was 6 years old in 1968 when the news came on with Walter Cronkite, and they played a clip of the "I Have a Dream" speech
Oh,
at at the Lincoln Memorial overlooking the reflecting pond, which is now a lovely shade of green.
oh God.
And And I remember my
I,
dad,
yeah.
here's my dad in his dirty, filthy blue work outfit and
Hmm.
in dirty work socks next to his work boots. And he's drinking this big mason jar full of Seagram 7 and 7. And
Yes.
he's reading the papers, he's getting caught up on the paper, and he's watching the news. And I'm sitting beside him on the floor, and he just looks up from his paper and says, "There's a great man," and look
Hmm.
back down at his paper. He didn't remember saying it. I remembered it clear as a bell. It was
Yeah.
a foundational moment. But my dad never lost those ideals of personal sovereignty and freedom and what this country really is supposed to be
Hmm.
about and who it's supposed to be for.
You know the end scene in um uh we were just talking about it. The movie with Tom Hanks. The
Saving
what?
Private Ryan.
Yes, Saving Private Ryan. You know the end scene where he's standing on the beach at Normandy and he's asking his wife, was I a good man?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that scene makes me cry every time because it reminds me the only time I have ever
Yeah.
seen my stepfather cry was when his mother died and when we were standing at Arlington Cemetery in Washington, D.C., and my stepdad being so humbled looking at all of the graves and my mom hugging him as he was like, so overcome with all these people died for our, sacrificed their life for me and ever, he just, I remember him standing there crying and I just thought my stepdad's in tears. That's not something I ever thought would happen because mom and Ward got married when I was probably 7. And that was when in 1995 when I graduated high school. And by that point, I was calling him dad as well. And I just remember thinking, I've never seen my dad cry.
But that scene is really the summation of all of our lives. And here's a
Hmm.
guy whose kids are behind him, and
Hmm.
his wife is holding his shoulder. And
Was I a good man? I
yes,
just,
yes, was
God.
and it the big reveal there is he's at the beginning of the movie, and he's looking for this grave, and then that turns out to be Matt Damon's character.
Yeah. I think that's a question that all fathers ask, though, is am I
It's
a good
it's
father?
a
Am I a good
question we
man?
all
Am I doing the right thing?
it's a question we all should ask, right?
Yeah, I think moms have the same thing. I think parents in general is how bad am I fucking up my kid?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I tell my kid all the time, I have no idea what I'm doing. You're the first kid I've ever had. We're figuring this out together. I'm gonna screw this up all the time. And I know dads do the same thing. But Adam is a rock star dad. Like Adam is just he is the perfect dad.
There you go.
I remember when after we got married, he would sit there. He's kind of a big dude, and he would sit there with my little daughter, and she would paint his nails. And the equivalent of a 8-year-old painting your nails is just pouring paint all over your fingers. But he would just, yes, it looks very lovely. You did a very good job. And he would play nail salon with her, and just he would go to work with just this mess of nail color. And I see people like The Rock and Jason Momoa and that kind of stuff do the same thing. Girl dads are a different breed, man.
Yep. You are. You are. I think we did it.
I think we did a good job. I hope we tried to honor our dads.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of I hear a lot of talk about, it depends on the kid, right? That
Hmm.
one kid can idolize a parent, and another can have a completely different relationship, especially if
Oh, my two brothers have a great relationship with my dad growing up.
yeah,
Absolute stellar relationship.
yeah,
My dad and I had a very rocky relationship. They have a different mom than I do, and their relationship with our dad is
yeah.
1,000% different than mine.
Well, especially since like if a dad has gone through a divorce, and he's
Hmm.
learned he's
Hmm.
learned some lessons, right?
Yeah.
Relationships and himself, and all of that, maybe gone through some life challenges,
Yeah.
and that can temper that, but on either side of that divorce, if there's other kids, there's a vastly different relationship
Oh, absolutely.
and a vastly different perspective
Hmm.
on that father, and it can be those relationships can be repaired,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
can be mended, or redefined in some way.
And
Uh,
I think it takes a little work to do that too. Both people have to, I
yeah,
think both the child and the parent have to really want to
yeah,
tend to that growth together because it's a different landscape when you get older.
yeah. But everyone should strive to be a better person every day. But that's a process.
Hmm.
That
Absolutely.
and that change takes time.
It really does.
Yeah. So
100%.
that's why I love that example that you brought up about Saving Private Ryan, because boom, that line
Hmm.
just just encapsulates.
Every single time I watch it, it makes me bawl my eyes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It destroys me every time.
Yep.
It's such a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Hey, so like us on what's going on, by the way, at the Spine? What do you got going on?
We're painting bookshelves. We're almost done with the painting bookshelves project. And then we're going to rework the entire floor
Hmm.
so that it's more, book story. We're going to be at Teas and Tropes July 31st and August 1st.
Hmm.
And then we've got the Southern Festival of Books in October, and we're putting on our play in November if we can get enough people to donate to our GoFundMe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we're $120 closer.
I'm so excited about that. That's amazing. And I've been taking up donations like at the farmer's market and at the store too. So
There you go.
hopefully,
There you go.
yeah.
We'll do it.
But yeah, if anybody can donate even $1 or share it, that would be great, because this play is really important, and I think it needs to be shared.
And then they need to come and visit us. So we'll be sharing.
I think so too.
As we get closer and as we achieve our goal, we'll be sharing out exactly where the theater.
Oh, and I will tell you this too.
Yeah.
So, the publisher of Speak, who is that? I can't remember who publishes the book, but the publishers of Speak, they found out about us putting that book in the play because it's very important and personal to me. So they decided to donate all like 100 copies of the book. So opening night, the first 100 people in the door are going to get a copy of the book Speak. From the publisher.
And so we're gonna build some moments, some video moments from the play, and then we'll add those into our fundraisers, so people can get an idea for the play. We're not going to give away the play, but you'll be able to see moments.
Well, and I think one of the moments that I'm really excited about actually visualizing is that one scene where the librarian is deemed guilty, and we took a little bit of license from that Twilight Zone episode that I sent you, not the Time Enough At Last, which is everybody's favorite episode of the Twilight Zone ever for the rest of my life, but the other one, which is where a librarian is convicted of being what is the word? Not worthy or not helpful, and so they put him to death because and it's a great episode about librarians and him being not necessary anymore. And so that's one of the scenes we took a little creative license with. And then the scene in the beginning where you've got the U.S. moderators going over that whole scene is going to look like the Rutherford County School Board, in my opinion. That's how I see that.
Good.
Because I'm petty and I like to poke the bear. So
nice, perfect. We've got we've got a new commercial to debut for the Spine.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be on this.
It's fantastic.
Like us on Facebook, on Blue Sky, and on YouTube, and give us,
follow, and share.
Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. But it helps us. It helps with the algorithm, and it helps us get seen more. So, Lindsay, always great speaking with you.
Oh yeah, we just have nothing to say. It's so boring, and we're just so quiet.
We've discovered that over the years.
Well, you've definitely become one of my favorite people. So.
Oh, you too. So, and I just love these conversations.
Me too. We need to record one when I come see you in February.
Okay.
We need to record an episode in February.
Much like we did now?
Yeah. No, but I mean, in February, I'll actually be there.
Of course. Yeah. Well, we can have Anna hold the camera and just circle us.
That would be so much fun. It'd be like, oh my God, we're in the same room.
All right, Lindsay, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining us here on Well, Actually. I'm WC Turk, and you are
Lindsay Schultz. Toodaloo.
Cheers. Stupid.